I'll jump right to it and I'll show you exactly what you can set up in LeadCapture to either increase lead quality, increase inbound lead flow, or even just become more efficient when you're building out your LeadCapture pages, forms, quizzes, and funnels. And then I'll actually dive into some of the unique features we have, like our real-time phone validation, our contact score, our data enrichment, and even our AI. And finally, I'll show you how you can build a LeadCapture page, a funnel, or a quiz for your business without even having to sign up, download anything, put in a credit card, or anything like that. So first, is LeadCapture for you? If you care about your lead quality, if you care about your conversion rates, if you care about going faster and increasing your ROI, then LeadCapture can definitely help you. And I'll show you exactly how in this video. In fact, 3 areas where it really helps. The first is increasing conversion rates. That's simply turning more of the traffic that you're already getting into qualified leads. And the benefit here is not just higher conversion rates, but it can also help bring down your overall cost per lead if you're converting more of that traffic. The next is lead quality. LeadCapture is the best at helping you capture qualified leads. And there's all different ways that we do this. For example, with every lead that you capture, you could capture a unique contact score value, showing you how likely somebody is to pick up the phone. I'll show you that in this video. We also have click fraud detection and a bunch of additional features to ensure you're getting contactable leads with intent. And the third thing that LeadCapture helps a ton with is just workflow and efficiency. If you're a marketer or if you're in lead gen, you know how cumbersome the lead gen tech stack can be. There's tools for lead distribution, routing, compliance, landing pages, forms, funnels, verification, validation, the list goes on and on. LeadCapture brings everything into one platform. You can build lead forms and funnels. You can do lead verification, validation, data enrichment. We have compliance tools, compliance integrations, session recordings, A/B testing. We can even do extremely complex things like ping posts into different systems. And we have an AI that's threaded throughout the platform that can help you both build on the fly and analyze your results. So without further ado, let's dive into it. And we're going to start with the end result. LeadCapture gives you this builder that you see here to build out LeadCapture pages, funnel surveys, forms that look like this. This is just one example of what you can build. You can play around with the layout all you like. There's all sorts of customization options. We'll touch on that in a moment. But you can build out these simple conversion-focused, or I like to call them conversion-ready pages that you can drive traffic to that you then turn into qualified leads. So this is an example for Tap My Mortgage. The offer is how much equity is sitting on your home. Somebody simply enters in their address, and I'll show you how we can even enrich the lead with property info. So if you're in mortgage or real estate or property investing, you're going to love what I'm about to show you. They can start the process by answering one simple question. And we provide all the data as somebody goes through each step, so you can actually see and even A/B test different setups and flows. And I completely forgot to mention, we have a video feature where you can embed these videos, have dynamic countdown clocks. There's all different things you can do here to drive up engagement. By the way, this format of landing page is extremely effective. It's easy to set up. We have templates inside of LeadCapture. I would recommend trying it. We have some unique features like the slider banner that can highlight your unique benefits, value props, differentiating factors. And then you'll see here that this page is very simple, but it's designed that way. I've been working on LeadCapture since 2019. In fact, here's me working on it from within the hospital in the night before my son was born back in 2019, just helping some of our first customers. I tell you this so you know that we have a lot of data, and I've seen a lot of what works and what doesn't. And building out conversion-focused pages like this is one of the most effective things that you can do to drive conversion and then capture qualified leads. Now, let's go through this funnel so you can see how this looks. And before we do that, let me just make sure that I have one of my favorite features on here, confetti, because I want to show you something pretty cool that you can do inside of your funnel. And we will be discussing all of this in a moment here, but we're going to turn on the confetti cannon. Okay, so let's start going through this quiz. And by the way, you can even take these forms, quizzes, and surveys that you're creating and embed them into another site. Now, I don't live here, so if you don't like me, please do not mail glitter to this property. That owner will be very upset. And we are going to go through, you'll see here, it leads with a question. The next question is, what are your goals? So what we're simply doing here is qualifying the prospect one question at a time, because this is the most effective way to convert your traffic into leads we see it in the data. We have millions upon millions upon millions of impressions. And I can tell you for a fact that this works better than having a very long form. But here's the caveat. It also depends on your traffic, and it's always worth testing. And that's why we give you the data back in the platform so you can run A/B tests. So you'll see here, it says, what are my goals? And I would choose lower my monthly payment. Do you have a second mortgage on the property? I probably should have said no, so I'll just go back and click no. And all of this can be customized. You can customize the colors of the form, the progress bar, everything. You can add sliders, all that type of stuff. I did not serve in the military. I am not 62 or older. And you'll see here that there's a bunch of questions. Now, one of the things that's unique with this particular funnel is we're going to be enriching it with property information. So half these questions we don't technically need, but I just want to give you a sense of all the type of questions that you could ask within the funnel here. And you'll see analyzing your property, and there's the confetti. One of my favorite parts. We just blasted this lead, in this case, it's me, with confetti. And I would recommend doing something like that because it kind of jolts people awake. It takes them out of monkey brain mode. But more importantly, I think it sends a message that you're different. In a world where people aren't sure where their information's going, there's no better time than now to show people that you care about their experience. And popping up confetti is just a subtle way to do that. Now, before we go on, this is where LeadCapture truly begins to separate itself. You have the ability within LeadCapture to validate an email address and to even validate a phone number, and to even block out specific line types. And I'll show you how easy it is to set all of that up. Typically, that requires a lot of different tools, but all of this is turnkey. Just flip a switch inside of LeadCapture. So first, you'll see here, I'll just put in leadcapture.io. And then when I tab to the next field, you'll see it's going to validate in real time. My email address has passed validation. Now I'm going to put in a phone number, and you'll see here, it's also going to run a validation, and it's checking all different things. It's making sure it's not a TCPA litigator who's attempting to try to poach for a TCPA case. It's looking up the type of device, the line, how frequently the phone is actually used, and all of that turns into a contact score number, a contact score grade that we give you when the lead is actually captured, and you can pass that wherever it needs to go. Now, if I really wanted to, I could also block this lead from even submitting if it didn't match some sort of criteria. I'll click get my free estimate, and then the lead gets routed and redirected to wherever it needs to go. Let's dive into the platform now, because I want to show you how the lead record looks when it comes in and show you some of the enrichment features. So if we jump into the lead section, here's the lead, and don't worry, I loaded it with dummy data. So this way I wouldn't expose actual PII, except for some of mine. Here's that lead that I just captured. So inside of LeadCapture, there's this My Lead section. So here's all the lead information that came through. You can see the email status. You can see the delivery status. So in this case, this lead failed to post because I don't have a integration properly hooked up. So this is a pretty good example of how you can see if a lead doesn't post to your CRM or lead distribution tool. And we even have a way to alert you if that happens. You can jump in and fix it right away. Then here's where more of the magic starts to happen from a data enrichment side. You can see a contact score. You can see if the lead is likely fraud or not fraud. We'll touch on that in a moment. And you can even do lead scoring inside of LeadCapture. I don't have it set up in this particular LeadCapture page. So if we click into the lead, there's all different information here. So you have the basic contact info. Here's that contact score that I was telling you about. And we're scoring the lead on a scale of 0 to 100, telling you how active the line is, or whether it's disconnected or inactive, all the way up to 100. And as you get data, you can even start to filter on that score. So why does this matter? And why does understanding if the phone is valid or not, or the line type matter? Well, it simply tells you, your clients, your sales team, or if you're selling leads to your lead buyers, whether or not this lead is a high quality lead, whether or not their phone number is actually a great phone number. And if you're using OTP phone verification, you can even verify and validate if they're holding their phone because they have to physically put in a PIN code. In this case, it's just real time and happening in the field. We have click fraud detection. I'll show you that in a moment. We're capturing the consent. And now let's look at the data enrichment side. This is extremely useful if you're in mortgage, real estate, home insurance, some home services. We capture the property info. If you look here at some of the details, the type of property. So in this case, we're seeing it's a condo, the year built, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, construction, total rooms. the different building features. We can see that this doesn't have a basement, that there's no pool, there's no fireplace. Now, pop quiz time. Do you remember me going through and asking questions like, do you have a basement? Do you have a pool? What's the value of your property? No, because we're enriching all this information. And this is one of the things that makes LeadCapture extremely unique. We're not just focused on the conversion side. We're focused on what I like to call the data layer. And that includes the phone and email validation, and even enriching leads when you want to do something like that. And it's something we're going to continue to build out in the years to come. Going down a little bit further, you can see who owns the property and confirm that, their financial data, the estimated market value, the assessed value, the annual tax, who owns the mortgage, and the list goes on. And we could even, if we wanted to, run skip trace on this. We don't have that turned on. Then there's all the technical details, the webhook deliveries. So you can see that I was attempting to deliver this lead to a backend that I accidentally took down. And we have the exact webhook delivery, and we can see why it failed. So if you're more on the technical side where there's a lot of integrations on the back end, this is a lifesaver because you can see the exact payload that's sent through, the delivery status. You can even come right in here, fix it, and then resend it. Also want to show you the click fraud detection. Let's go to this one here. So imagine this lead comes in and it's identified as click fraud. As somebody gets to the page, we're determining how likely they are to be click fraud. And then you can do a bunch of stuff with that, like route the lead out and make sure they never post to begin with. Okay, now real quick, let me show you the different ways you can build a LeadCapture page, survey, lead quiz, or form right inside of LeadCapture. Then I'll dive into a couple of the things you can do in the integration side and what that looks like. I'm not going to give you a full-blown tour of how to do all of it. It's just high level. And then I'll show you some of the different features we have that can help you. So when you want to build a funnel, you have a few different choices. You can create with AI. You can start from a template. You can clone an existing funnel that you have, or you can start from scratch. So let's just start from AI. We're going to have AI build this whole funnel for us. Let's go with a LeadCapture page for final expense and insurance. I'll click continue. Now the AI is analyzing this description, and then it just has a few additional questions to get some context around how best to set up the funnel. So we're going to say we want to capture more leads. We're going to confirm the industry, and then we are just going to confirm that the lead type here is final expense and burial. Now, this is not going to produce some sort of AI slot for us. It's actually going to build a funnel based on what we see work. It's going to map to our entire model and get you to a starting point. You can either choose to build a full-blown lead funnel or lead capture page with a bunch of subpages, or you can build just the lead form or quiz if you want to embed it somewhere else. In this case, we'll just go with the full thing. You can choose whether you want it to be single column, two column, or even a sales ladder funnel if you have to warm up your traffic. We'll go with single column. We're going to say, yes, I have a website. Let's just go with this one. Rocket quote. We'll just keep going. It provides some suggested questions based on the industry, so it's context aware. Then we'll just add in some additional questions, like I'll just say state, and then we'll continue from there. Who are you trying to reach? It knows who we're trying to reach. It automatically put in seniors. That's exactly who we're trying to reach. Let's go with urgent copy. And then what are we going to give in exchange? We'll say a free quote. And then here's some of the additional pages it can create. So if you're in lead gen and maybe selling leads or lead gen agency, or if you're just running paid traffic, you definitely need terms of service, privacy policy, partners. But you'll see that you can create lead disqualification pages, upsell pages, downsell pages if you decide to monetize leads that aren't qualified or do different things with leads. All stuff for another time, or you could skip that altogether. Let's go with blue because that's trustworthy for the insurance space. And then TCPA, do you need that? And then there's some additional questions. Do you want to validate the contact details for both? We'll just say yes. Summary. Now it's going to generate the funnel. So it's going out, it's looking at how we build funnels and what works. This isn't designed to build some sort of completely off the rails thing. It's always going to build it within the LeadCapture framework because we've generated millions upon millions of leads and we know what works. So it's going out, it's building it against the framework, it's writing the copy, and it's going to get you about 70% there because there's still tweaks you're going to want to make. You're going to want to add in different questions, and then of course, add in different integrations and connect to the funnel, especially if you need to use more complex integrations like compliance integrations, like active prospect trusted form or lead scoring. So it's getting to work, it's setting up the funnel, and in a few seconds, it is going to redirect us right into the page. All right, it generated the page for us. Here it is. So let's see what it built. We'll go into focus mode so we can see the whole page. And you'll see it's saying limited time free quotes available. So it's playing into that urgency option that we selected. Protect your family with affordable final expense coverage. Get your free quote in minutes. Honestly, that's 10 times better than I would have wrote. I'm not a copywriter, so it's nice that it will do that. Here's the funnel that it created for us. And then you'll see it added in this section here. Read some call outs, why thousands of seniors trust Rocket Quote. Out of the gate, I could tell you for a fact that this would convert if you just took this, threw it on Google Ads or Meta or something. Now, there's optimizations you can make. For example, one of the things that we see work very well is dropping a picture of a person at the top. It helps build trust. Anything you can do these days to build trust is huge. Then let's take a look at the list of questions here. So here are the questions that it added into the flow: age range, coverage amount, current period, state here, and you'll even see states a drop down, pre-formatted with all the states, so you don't have to type them all in. It even added the processing step, name, contact info, and the compliance. And then there's things that the AI did that are following conversion best practices that we see work the best. And I can't stress that enough. I see people going out there and using generic AI systems, and they're great at all. They can create some really nice stuff, but they're not built around conversion best practices. They're not good at tracking. They tend to produce very slow, clunky pages, and they aren't thinking through things like, should we split the name and contact details, or should it all be one step? Or where should the processing step fit in? Or where should we put the little call outs to build proof and all of that type of stuff? And we're continuing to train our AI based on what works. So you have all the questions here. You can come in, modify them. We have all different field types. Won't go through all that now. And the thing that I want to really drive home here is the way that I think about AI is it's threaded through the platform, almost like electricity. I think it's Jeff Bezos who says that AI is like electricity. It should be threaded through products to make us more productive. And that's how we're approaching AI with LeadCapture. It's not here to replace you on the strategic side. It can do some very strategic things, but it's here to help you move faster so you can free up your time to focus on more strategic things like copy, campaigns, or just running your business. So let's say we want to change this headline. I might say, make the headline shorter and punchy. And then you'll see I was even doing some work here before to get one of the different pages set up. And then it's saying, could you clarify what headline you mean? So it needs context, so this way it doesn't just go off the rails. And I'm just simply going to respond back with one to keep it real short. And now it's going through, you can see that the AI Copilot is updating, and it updated the headline pretty fast. Affordable final expense insurance coverage for your family. Maybe we don't want the sub headline. I'm going to say to it, remove this sub headline. And it's going to go through and remove this sub headline. What sub headline do you mean? And then I'll just say I'm talking about the landing page subheadline because it wants to know if I'm talking about the form subheadline or the landing page subheadline, and it's gone. So just like that, you can have it update it. It can even update the design. If you don't want this form here to be white, you could have it, make it a nice blue, and it will actually update all the button colors and all of that type of stuff. I still recommend getting in here and manually changing things. It's just a matter of clicking into a pencil. It opens up this left-hand sidebar. If you look here, you have both your page settings and your form settings. And the way that we think about the structure for the entire thing is it's a single unified funnel. So you have your page with your lead form or quiz embedded into it. And this is the type of funnel that works the best when you're running paid traffic. So it's a unified funnel, all in one flow, but you could easily just take this quiz part and embed it into your own website or landing pages if you have a very specific design specification that you need in place. So just going across to the left, you can see you can do conditional routing. There's very complex routing that you can set up, but it's easy to set up. AI can even set it up for you. Just something to keep in mind is a question that often comes up. If we go into settings, you'll see here there's all different settings. You can add in trusted form or Journaya if you're on the lead gen side. Lead verification settings, here's the validation and enrichment, where you can just enrich. You can also block based on all the stuff that I showed at the beginning of the video. Click fraud detection, email block list if you want to block out the free mail providers. Maybe you're in B2B and you do not want Gmail and Hotmail getting through, or maybe you just find that they're low quality leads. If you're getting nailed with spam, you can block IP addresses and it will block the form from loading completely. And then we have the email verification where you can set all the different policies, lead scoring, ping post, address autocomplete, and partial lead capture, and the list goes on and on. We're always adding new things to this. Getting into lead delivery, this is pretty key because you obviously need to get your leads somewhere. Whether you're a small business, you need to follow up with leads, or whether you're on the agency side or selling leads, you need to get your leads to your clients or buyers as well. So we have webhooks and Zapier, meaning you can pretty much send your leads wherever they need to go. At a real basic level, we have an email alert system, so you could just send your leads to yourself. Then we connect with many of the different common lead distribution tools and CRMs out there, like LeadPress, Juice, LeadBite, Finexa, Leadspedia, the list goes on. Now, throughout this presentation, you might be thinking, how easy is it to connect LeadCapture to my domain, or to add a form or a quiz to my site? Well, it's super easy. To publish it, it's actually ready to go right from the start, but it's hosted on my.leadcapture.io. If you want it on your own domain, all you have to do is connect your domain. You can connect your own custom domains to LeadCapture. So if someone goes to yourdomain.com or lead.yourdomain.com, it will load up your page. If you just want to embed it on your site, just simply grab this code and paste it in wherever you host your landing pages and website. That's the alternative approach, and it would embed just the form part. And just scrolling down here, you can add custom tracking scripts, all that type of stuff. But if you're hosting your page on LeadCapture and you care about SEO, or if you're driving traffic from Meta, you will definitely want to be updating your page metadata and all of this additional information down here. Before we wrap up, there's a couple of additional things I want to show you. Once you start driving traffic, you will see when you come into LeadCapture, you're always going to see your total leads at a very high level, and you can filter down based on date range. You're going to see all of your LeadCapture pages, quizzes, and forms in this section. So with a quick glance, you can see how things are performing. We even have these little spike charts to make it very easy for you to see performance at a high level. We have folders. So as you're building out different LeadCapture pages, you can keep yourself organized. And then if you drill into a funnel, you can see your metrics. So you can see here that this is just a test funnel that I was running, so it hasn't really been doing too much, but it has 20 test leads. You can see all of the different metrics associated with just this LeadCapture page and every single step, along with views, unique views, and conversion rate. So you can drill into any step of your funnel and make an optimization. And then there's, of course, all of the leads that are associated with it. Now, if you really want to get more leads, you could take what you currently have and run an A/B test by clicking this little icon here. And upon clicking that, you have two choices. You can have our system generate test ideas with AI. And what will happen here is the AI will scan your exact LeadCapture page or form, and it will look at the data and it will recommend some test ideas. This helps get you thinking outside of the box and thinking about different things you could test. And then from there, you can create a whole test roadmap and continue testing and continue optimizing. Or if you have an idea of what you want to test, you can say create manual test. So let's just let the AI generate a bunch of test ideas for us. So it's going through, it's analyzing the funnel structure, it's reviewing conversion data, it's identifying optimization opportunities, generating a hypothesis for us, and then ranking ideas by impact to give us a clear idea of what we could potentially test. And then here's all of the different ideas that we could look through and decide what we want to test. Now, maybe we're like, well, I just want to test a whole different headline. I want to keep it simple. Well, you have the control and the variant. You can now click into the variant. Here's the variant page. And then you could change the headline and test that. Then you can launch an A/B test. In addition to A/B testing, you can also watch users as they go through your funnel. We call it lead playback. Here's the start of the session recording of me going through. And you can actually see me going through the start of this LeadCapture form. So you can come in here and watch people as they go through and find conversion optimization opportunities, and then take those opportunities and run an A/B test. So it all comes full circle. So as you can see, LeadCapture is more than just a form or funnel builder. It's a whole conversion platform with AI threaded through. Build better LeadCapture pages so you can capture more and better leads. So if you're using multiple tools, you could essentially consolidate your landing page or funnel builder, your form builder, session recording, A/B testing, and more right into LeadCapture. Now, you've got a couple of options. The first option is you could just try for free and start a free trial. There's no credit card needed to get started. But if you're not ready for a trial, and if you want to see what a LeadCapture page could look like for your business, you could come in here and have our AI build a complimentary LeadCapture page for your business. and it will generate a whole blueprint explaining why everything is set up the way it's set up. And if you like it, you can claim it, make it your own, go into LeadCapture and customize it. That wraps up this video. Thanks for your time.